All right, good afternoon. My name is Chris Murphy. I have the honor of being here with my colleague in the United States Senate, Dick Blumenthal, and Takima Robinson, who's the Director of Asset Building Programs for the Connecticut Association of Human Services. We're here to talk about the opening of the 2021 tax filing season. Right now, Connecticut residents can file their tax returns with the IRS for their 2021 taxes. And we wanted to talk today about some of the particular challenges that are going to be presented to tax filers, what filers can do about it, but also what we're planning to do about it. This is going to be a challenging tax year, in part because the IRS is understaffed and using decades-old technology that is not keeping up with the pace of returns. The IRS has about as many people working for it as it did in the 1970s, even though the population of the United States has increased by 50%. It's using technology that dates back to the 1960s. And so what we're finding is increasingly returns are delayed, filings are taking longer to be processed, and if a filer is really depending on that tax return coming in on time, coming in quickly, that can be a big problem. My office gets hundreds of calls from Connecticut residents who need help getting their tax refund. And quite honestly, we right now are still helping a lot of Connecticut filers with their 2019 and 2020 tax returns. So we want to talk about a few things today. One is the need this year to get your taxes done early. Because so many families received the child tax credit, there's going to be a little additional paperwork that many families are going to have to fill out this year. And also, given the increased processing time, this is a good year to get your taxes done in February instead of in April. That will give you a better chance to get that refund, if you're owed one, back a little bit quicker. It's a great year to file electronically and to sign up for direct deposit. If you're filing electronically and you're allowing the IRS to send the refund directly to your bank account, chances are good that you're going to get that refund faster than some of your neighbors. But we also encourage folks to take advantage of the services here in Connecticut that are available to help people file their taxes. And I'm going to allow Takima to talk a little bit about that. Lastly, Senator Blumenthal and I are pushing our colleagues to get the IRS the resources that they need in order to modernize. The Build Back Better agenda, which right now is on the back burner, would have included $80 billion to help the IRS modernize, hire new personnel, not just to process regular claims more quickly, but also to go after the tax cheats and the tax scofflaws, the millionaires and the billionaires who aren't paying their fair share. The fact of the matter is there are a lot of people who are making a ton of money in this country who aren't paying their taxes every year. Well, millions of Connecticut residents who are making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year are paying their fair share and are paying their taxes. So we're going to continue to press our colleagues to allocate additional resources to the IRS so that they can process these returns quicker, they can update their technology, and they can go after the big tax cheats. And we're hoping that the IRS is going to take some steps in the short run to be able to process these claims faster, and we're pushing the IRS to get better this tax season to be able to get those returns turned around. So file electronically, file early, go out and get help from some of our free services in Connecticut if you need it and if you qualify. And we're going to be in Washington over the next several months pressing our colleagues to increase resources for the IRS and pressing the IRS to do better than they have. Let me turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Well, thank you to Senator Murphy. Thank you, Ms. Robinson, for being here today. You know, nothing is more basic to Americans than the obligation to pay taxes. For many years, as the chief federal prosecutor, I went after people who failed to pay their federal taxes. And they were very much the exception, because most Americans play by the rules and they pay their taxes. But you're not receiving your refunds. You're not getting your stimulus checks. You can't get your inquiries answered by the IRS, and you are not alone. Millions and millions of Americans are shortchanged by the IRS, even after they do the right thing, play by the rules, and pay their taxes. And the reason is the IRS has fewer resources, less staff than it did decades ago, but the number of tax filers has increased. So get mad at the IRS, but also get mad at Congress, because Congress is succumbing to the big corporate lobbyists and the anti-tax right-wing extremists that are trying to strangle the IRS so they can cheat the hardworking, everyday American workers and small business owners that are paying their taxes, playing by the rules, and their refunds are delayed, their stimulus checks are in the mail long after they should be, and only 1 out of every 9 Americans gets their calls answered, just answered by the IRS. That is a travesty. And the reason is simple. The IRS is trying to do more with less, and there is a breaking point where the whole system is collapsing under its own weight. The simple fact is that there are 10 million, literally, as of right now, 10 million unprocessed tax filings with the IRS. Now, put aside the people who cheat. Those people haven't paid taxes. And our federal government, you and I and all taxpayers, are the ones who suffer, because eventually we'll pay more as a result. Now, there are the tax cheaters. In fact, the number of uncollected taxes, the amount that is somehow avoided or evaded by people, is in the range of $400 billion, possibly as high as $800 billion. That's money on the table, not your table, not the IRS's table. It's on the tables of the tax avoiders. If we collect that money, we could fund half or maybe even all the defense budget out of it. Hundreds of billions of dollars uncollected because people avoid or evade taxes. And the IRS can't go after them because it lacks the staff to do so. That is disgraceful and shameful in a country that depends on people doing the right thing. But part of the blame is on the United States Congress for failing to give the IRS the resources it needs to go after those people. And it should go after them vigorously and rigorously. So let me just finish on this note. I think there ought to be bipartisan support for law enforcement. There ought to be bipartisan support for the police, for the FBI, and for the IRS revenue enforcers, the criminal penalty pursuers, who make sure that people are deterred from avoiding or evading their taxes, because ultimately voluntary compliance is at the core of our internal revenue system. If everybody decided not to pay taxes, the whole system would collapse. And the failure to enforce the law breeds contempt for it and contempt for the system. That's why we need more rigorous and fair, I emphasize fair, enforcement. Nobody persecuted, but prosecute the tax cheats. Give the IRS the tools it needs to have real teeth and enforce the law. And with that, I will yield to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to thank Senators Murphy and Blumenthal for allowing me to be here today. My name is Takima Robinson, and I am the Director of Asset Building Programs with the Connecticut Association for Human Services, also known as CAS. CAS is a nonprofit organization located in Hartford, Connecticut. However, our services are statewide. For over 100 years, we have been dedicated to eliminating poverty in Connecticut by advocating for policies and implementing programs that promote financial success. We also led a coalition of community organizations, foundations, state reps, business and labor leaders to create the State Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC. And since its enactment in 2011, it has provided an average of $550 each year in additional dollars to hard-working families in Connecticut. This tax season, the state EITC has been increased to 41.5% of the federal EITC. This is a huge, huge impact. CAS aggressively addresses racial and economic inequality through the programs we deliver, and the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, also known as VITA, is our flagship program. CAS coordinates one of the largest VITA coalitions in the state, and we see firsthand how impactful the VITA program is to the individuals and the families we serve. Last tax season, the CAS VITA coalitions prepared over 10,000 tax returns, resulting in over 16 million in refunds and credits. That equals more money back in the pockets of the people who need it the most, also more money back into the community. For a family living paycheck to paycheck, receiving the EITC could mean catching up on bills, buying food for their household, buying a car to get to and from work, or to prevent eviction. And by going to a VITA site, that will increase a taxpayer's chances of getting these credits that they may be entitled to. Our VITA volunteers are trained and certified through the IRS to screen for the tax credits to maximize tax refunds. In addition to maximizing your refund, going to a VITA site can actually save up to $3,000 in tax preparation fees. Up to $300 in tax preparation fees. VITA not only helps you get money, it helps you save money too. It's your money. You've earned it, you should keep it. And this year, due to the ongoing pandemic, the CAS VITA sites have adjusted their service deliveries. Our sites are providing limited in-person services following the CDC protocols, but we also provide drop-off and online services. For more information about the VITA program or to find a VITA site near you, you can visit www.cahs.org. That's www.cas.org. And for our online service, you can visit www.getyourrefund.org/cause-ct. www.getyourrefund.org/cause/ct. Thank you and happy tax season.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Takima, and thank you to all of our tax preparation assistance personnel in Connecticut who make this so much easier. We hope people will take advantage of it.
And I think just for reference purposes, Senator Murphy and I have written to the Secretary of the Treasury and the IRS Commissioner supporting the $800 million requested by the President over 10 years to build the kind of IRS that we need. We are supporting the Build Back Better allocation of money, but there are also a number of straightforward requests to ease the burden on taxpayers that we've collected, such as halting the automated collections between now and 90 days after April 18th, providing for targeted penalty relief. That is, penalty relief for anyone who paid at least 70% of their tax due in 2020 and 2021 tax years. There are 5 steps that have bipartisan support. We've asked the Secretary of the Treasury and the Commissioner of the IRS to take these requests because they are fairer to taxpayers at a time when the processing has been delayed. So those steps are tremendously important. And just to repeat, we're asking for $80 billion, I may have misspoken earlier, $80 billion over 10 years, part of the Build Back Better program, which will yield multiples of that amount because there's a tax gap of $400 to $800 billion. So $80 billion over 10 years will yield multiple returns, and we're hoping that the President's request will be adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.